Oh shit. Body and welcome into Good Friday Rugby here at Vogeltown Park, where New Plymouth will be host defending champions Stratford Eltham in around about 5. Will Johnston with the call this afternoon, and alongside me is Billy Preston. Billy, so much for this bad weather that is forecast. It's beautiful afternoon here and very hot.
Well, I'll be honest to say I've had to go home and put my shorts and my T-shirt on because I came dressed for rain, wind and storms, and look at it now.
Yeah, very hot, and we're in the construction scaffold at halfway. It's almost like it's the canvas tarps around the outside, but it will be very hot for the players out there too. And a match-up coming up, Billy, with New Plymouth Old Boys, of course, coming off a loss against Stratford Eltham. It's two-copper, I should say, last weekend, and Stratford Eltham coming off a coastal. So these two teams wanting to obviously make amends performances last week.
Yeah, mate. I think New Plymouth Old Boys, if you look back in the last 3 years, they seem to be losing mainly to errors. I think that seems to be the pinnacle point of issues. So if they can tidy those up and clean up a bit, hopefully they'll be in the game.
100%, yeah. So the two teams have made their way back up to the changing rooms here at Vogeltown Park, and an opportunity to go through the team lists. First starting with the visitors, the defending champions, winning that final last year against Southern 32-19. Brendan Coop at the back, Vili Rover and Willem Ratu on the wings. In the midfield, Chase Bailey and Ben Minhinnick. Steve and Harry Fever in the halves. The loose forward trio, Simisi Balinasi from Phil Dale Bailey at 7, Collins at 6. The second row, Ryan Williamson, Henry Merchant, who's been around for a long time, Eltham team, Marika Parker, Harry Hansen, the captain, and Dan Bishop, the front rowers for today. On the bench for Stratford Eltham, Rowlands, Toslin back, Scott Jury back for his first game of the season, along with Himopo Cunningham, Josh Howardson and Finn Crawford to jersey. And for New Plymouth Old Boys, Cullen Murfitt at the back for the home team. 2 Zacks on the wing, Betteridge and McDonald. Vuluma, Caleb Wheatley in the midfield, Jack and Eben Klaassen in the halves. Walter Cole, Simpson, 2 former Southern 8 and 7. Josh Dowsing at 6. Brent Tucker and Rowan Slater, the captain, the second rowers. And in the front row, Lawrence Miller and O'Neill. A couple of TBCs on the bench, but the names are Matthew Bench, Toke Heri, Jacob Mitchell, Josh Ray and Malum. A couple of changes there for both teams, Billy, and lights from the from a New Plymouth Old Boys perspective.
Good on you, Will. Putting me on the spot there. Well, it's good to see that we've got Jacob Mitchell. He's going to get his first run today. Yeah, really, I think too many injuries. Hard to call, to be honest, Will.
So the Stratford Eltham players making their way down to field here in Park. They have 3-1-2, lost 1. They're sitting in second place. Clifton, they beat Clifton in the first round, 19-15. They beat Inglewood 42-13. They lost to Coastal last weekend, 31-24. And of course, they got New Plymouth Old Boys today, but next week. And led out by their captain, Harry Hansen, out of the Taranaki Rugby Academy. Their shorts and T-shirts this afternoon as a modest crowd starts to build here at Vogeltown Park. As Hansen leads his team out onto the middle. And some promising players for the Eltham team too, Billy, and you would have seen them coming through with your involvement in the...
Yeah, it's good to see Himo. Good to see Himo coming back, and also Scott Jury. You know, a couple of guys there, unfortunately through injury, didn't spend a lot of time with Taranaki last year, but it's great to see them come back on the field, especially Himopo with the injury that he had against Wellington.
Slater leads out New Plymouth Old Boys. Another promising player and a guy that gives 110%. And our referee for this afternoon in his third premier match is New Plymouth Boys High School teacher Ross Hannon, and on the sidelines Craig Wellington and Dwayne Walton. So the scene is set here Good Friday rugby here at Vogeltown Park. Other matches around the province. Tukopa hosting Clifton. United away to Coastal. And last night we saw Inglewood beat Southern at TET Stadium under lights. Will be Jack Parker to kick off for the home team. Old boys in from left to right. Stratford Eltham in their black, white and red hoops, and the match is underway here at Park. And taken down on that far side of the field. Fever with his first touch of the afternoon. And the defence coming up smartly there from New Plymouth Old Boys. Fever back in a position. And quick hands here in the back, trying to break out of that 22. And that's the big number 8. Billy Nassar. Merchant with another carry from the second rower. Fever. Harry Hansen is first receiver. Around the back they go Christie. That's not a chase. And the referee playing advantage. They'll come back. And maybe Billy, the defence coming up too quickly, or maybe it was a high tackle. That's the signal from Ross Hannon.
Yeah, it was a good sort of an exit there by Stratford until that sort of happened, really. So pity they went back.
Blake Christie kicks for touch. And the first line out of the afternoon, bang on halfway. Will be Hansen to throw. And it's quick ball from the top. And a carry there from Zahn Collins for Stratford Eltham. They're in Old Boys half now. But Perry Lawrence coming up and making the tackle. They go back away to that open side. Here's Bailey, the blind side rather. Bailey makes a couple of good meters. And it's quick ball here for Stratford Eltham if they want it. Billy Nassar again with a carry. Fever. Go back away to that far side. And in from fullback is Coop. Running onto it again is Merchant. Fever. Going left to right, Stratford Eltham. Fever. Billy Nassar, a ball at the back of the ruck. And New Plymouth Old Boys have managed to get it back. Claassen now kicks downfield. And it holds up a little bit there for the winger, Willem Ratu. Fever again. Another carry from the number 8. And there's Parker, strong front rower, passes it off to Dan Bishop. All his experience. Kick downfield now, looking for a 50-22 is Fever. And this one could dribble into the end goal, and it could dribble over the dead ball line. It does, so they'll come back for a scrum. Just that breeze, Billy taking it over the dead ball line.
Yeah, just too many weak picks.
So we'll see the first scrum of the day. Stratford Eltham pride themselves on their scrum, and New Plymouth strong front row as well. So what are your picks up front, Billy?
Well, like you say, you know, there's a bit of a match-up here. Marika Parker, he's probably challenging Lawrence and Mitch O'Neill for maybe a spot in Barnsley's squad, so that'll be interesting to see.
So Lawrence, Miller and O'Neill in the front row for New Plymouth Old Boys. Bishop, Hansen and Parker. Stable so far. New Plymouth Old Boys with Leon up front. And they take it off the back. Walter Cole, who's moved up to New Plymouth Old Boys this year. Played for Southern last year, along with Tom Simpson, who's playing it up. And little knock on there at the back, trying to come through. So we'll get another one. But yeah, Old Boys, Billy, definitely the edge up front.
Yeah, and I think if Old Boys can tidy up, you know, just the errors, they've got to they'll hold it together. A long way to go, Will.
Yep, only about probably 6 minutes into this game. Still no score. Claassen to feed. Again, the shunt coming from Oldbury allowed it to play on. And making the tackle is Dale Bailey for Stratford Eltham. Parker going and play halfback. Here's Wheatley now, thought about kicking, then goes into the defence. Clarkson again, dowsing with his first touch of the afternoon. Slater on the charge. And they're in some space there, old boys on that far side. And on there, the pass wasn't great. And no advantage coming from that one.
You see the importance of getting that tipping accurate. Well, you know, if they don't get that accurate, you know, you end up going backwards.
100%. And no today because it's dry, it's hot, it's humid. Important, Billy, to get the setup right at scrum time, because if the set's not right, then the rest of it falls over. It's like a domino. Emphasis on the crouch and the stability. Again, there's the shunt coming. The ball comes out, so Clarkson wrapped up in the tackle there by Bailey again. And here's Slater with his head down and goes into the captain, Harry Hansen. And the ball comes out relatively smartly. Mitch O'Neill. Clarkson goes back towards that left-hand side where Slater is waiting. And gets the ball off the ground. And there's Vulima. And a penalty there at the breakdown.
Oldbury's really need to sort out that the back of that scrum there, Will.
Yeah, a little bit messy, and Bailey's putting a bit of pressure on, isn't he?
Yeah, his point is having that shunt on if you can't protect the ball.
Is down, and it's been a pretty quick start to this game. And Jack Parker will kick for goal here to get the first points of the afternoon potentially. And a northerly breeze that he was sort of kicking into. Here's the shot from Parker, and it is over. So first points on the board for New Plymouth Old Boys, courtesy of a Jack Parker penalty. 3 points to 0. Kristen with the restart. Parker, here's Walter Cole, and he played really well last week. And Park, unfortunately for New Plymouth, the loss, but he was one of those standout players. Parker who kicks for touch, and he kicks a pretty good clearance too.
He is one player, Will, has been standing out week after week, so hopefully Barnsley's got him on his radar.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a taste of first-class rugby. Jack Parker played for Buller. Williamson and goes up for it, but it goes beyond him and straight to Bailey. Fever again, Stratford Eltham in midfield. Fever, here's Christie. Fever looking both ways. Back side, Asia got a forward pass. And you could hear in front of us the bench from New Plymouth Old Boys called it, and the referee agreed.
Perry Lawrence is making some big...
He's coming out of that line quickly, isn't he?
Yeah.
Another scrum here. It's got to stay square. And again, shunt coming from Stratford Eltham, but they managed to control it. Kick downfield there from Zach Betteridge, and it's a little bit too far. Too much wheat bix on that one, Billy.
Yeah, we'll say. But, you know, they're the little errors that sneak in, you know. There we go. They've just lost 10 metres.
And they go quickly too, Harry Hansen, but it hasn't worked out because Rowan Slater grabs it. To Parker. Again, over the top, looking for that 50-22. He may have got the bounce of the football. Oh, what a kick there, Parker. A 50-22, and it sets New Plymouth Old Boys up. First one of the game. No one was at the back there because Willem Ratu wasn't allowed the ball to bounce away. Corrigan Miller to throw. And they attempt to move it forward, New Plymouth Old Boys. There we go. Here's the shot, and it's a try. Who's coming up with the ball? It could have been any one of those forwards.
Looks like it's Corlin Miller.
The hooker gets the try, and New Plymouth Old Boys extend that lead. Just keeping it basic, aren't they, Billy, on that occasion? And doing the job.
Yeah, we'll have to say, I think I drained about 40 lineouts at training that night, so I would have been pretty disappointed if they didn't get it right.
Well, it was a slow start, but eventually got there. And so Parker from effectively the touchline on that far side with the conversion. He's got the distance, and he's got the accuracy. What a kick. (10-0) is the score now. New Plymouth Old Boys a penalty and a converted try in the early stages of this game against the defending champion. Restart from Christie. Betteridge. In fact, there was Zach McDonald in 14, Betteridge on the other wing at 11. Class into Lawrence. Tries to bump off a couple of defenders and gets over the advantage line. Another strong run by the prop. Miller looks both ways, comes to this near side. Here's Wheatley into some space. Kicks for us, and they're inside the 22, so...
It's a pity he didn't look outside and Willie had two-man overlap. That would have been interesting to see where that would have gone to.
Yeah.
Neil Barnes is shaking his head.
Hansen throws, goes beyond anyone really, and Miller picks it up, the try scorer, and a bouncing pass and a get on at Stratford Eltham. No advantage coming from that. Yeah, just the handling in the early stages of this game.
And it's easy to sort of read the play from sitting up here, Will, but, you know, maybe Miller probably better off to carry it rather than pass like that.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Dan Bishop up against Mitch O'Neill on this near side in the scrums. And another restart coming. Very muggy condition. New Plymouth Old Boy.
What car temperature was reading?
Is that right? Probably with about 80% humidity as well. Fever scrum is stable for Stratford Eltham, and just another simple error there. Ben Minhinnick. And they've got numbers away to this near side to New Plymouth Old Boys. McDonald with a kick downfield. He'd a player on the outside of Murfitt. And the ball bouncing towards the touchline. Woodham going back. And he's got to be careful he doesn't run out of space here. He gets the pass away. And there, that was Villy Rover. Play still carries on, and Stratford Eltham still have possession. So no knock on. Christie in the pocket to clear. And he didn't do a bad job there, actually. I think Billy Oratu and Rover have switched numbers.
Either way, won't to that.
He's on this side, yeah. Ratu's on this side and Rover on the other. Kick downfield again by Stratford Eltham. Murfitt going back and grabbing the bouncing ball. A little bit awkward, does well. Clears. Ratu waiting inside the 22, and he pins his ears back and has a bit of a run. Tries to get round a defender. Bailey Port, player on the outside. It's Coop for the corner. Is this the first try for Stratford Eltham? Yes, it is. Coop was in good support. Down the outside, and they're on the board. Stratford Eltham.
They certainly had numbers to burn there, Will.
Yeah, set up by Ratu as well. He backed himself down the edge, didn't he?
He did. Old Bulls players just didn't come over to cover at all.
Tough. And a tough conversion from right out. And Blake Christie. And he does it pretty well too. Yeah, the flag's got up by the assistant referees. And that narrows the margin. 10-7 here at Vogeltown Park this afternoon. Parker to get play back underway. Hansen goes into contact. Simpson makes the strip before he goes to ground. Passes to his former Southern teammate Walter Cole up towards the 22. Stratford doing a good job here to slow it down. The ball slowly there for Clarkson. They go beyond Slater to and drive up towards the 22 again. Clarkson to Williamson. Behind play they go. Simpson got a flat pass from Jack Parker. Clarkson again to Lawrence. Another carry by the big prop. And a good coming from Slater. Clarkson moving away near side. Wheatley's got halfback. Cole with a dummy, and then he goes into contact. It was Ryan Williamson who had to make the tackle. Slater again, offload. Quick ball here for News. Miller's lurking on that left. And they can set it up again. Up to the 22. Lateral play so far for the home team. Lawrence. Back, and good support play at the back of the ruck there by Old Boys. Clarkson again to Slater. Off to Parker. Williamson, good pass on that far side. Here's Zach McDonald, and he'll score the try in the corner. That's Old Boys' second.
That was a good try there, reasonably well. I was actually thinking to myself that Stratford were defending well, and you could sort of see that out.
just phases and momentum, and something had to give. Seven with a kick to come, and it will be Parker, similar to the first attempt, which he nailed. And what's this one like? Oh, the same as the previous. Straight down the middle. And it is a 10-point lead here to New Plymouth Old Boys, 17-7.
There's been certainly some big clean-outs at the malls, the Rucken malls there, Will.
Yeah, it looks physical.
Yeah.
Christie. Oh, good chase there. From Stratford Eltham, it was Willem Ratu. There's a bit of a scuffle there, I think, and the assistant referee's got something here. Didn't quite see what happened. And to have a chat to Ross Hannon. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe a hit off the ball, possibly. No TMOs, Billy. So just got to make it a...
As you will. Make a call.
Barnsey.
Yeah. Oh.
So it looks like the Stratford Eltham captain has been called out here. And along with Harry Fever. And the referee might have his cards in his hand. And he's going to be sent to the bin, Harry Fever. The halfback. Obviously something off the ball. Stomp is the signal by the ref. And you can't really get away with anything like that these days. As McDonald clears. And this one has found touch beautifully. So the momentum of New Plymouth Old Boys at the moment. Good ball from the top of the line out. Goes into contact in midfield. Picked up by McDonald and loses it forward. Retention, an issue there. And Coop, the try scorer for Stratford Eltham, takes off. And they're just a little bit slow to the breakdown where Stratford Vantage they'll run.
They were looking pretty dangerous on that right-hand side too. I'm pretty sure they had some numbers.
Another scrum, and could be Blake Christie coming in to play halfback for Stratford Eltham, and it's Chase Bailey, given that Harry Fever's in the bin. And it's the number 8 comes off the back, Balanasa, again for Stratford Eltham. They get over the advantage line after that scrum. Bailey playing halfback. As he's certainly not used to doing. But a hesitation, then goes back to the blind. Slater again with another tackle for New Plymouth Old Boys. Bailey. Now, taken down by Mitch O'Neill and co. Here's Christie now, kicks downfield. Cullen Murfitt is in the 22 to greet it. All the time in the world back, and he'll return the favour. And he gets some good distance on that clearance, Cullen Murfitt. And a line out right down in front of us. The Old Boys want play to stop, and the referee says no. We'll keep play going. Bailey spots a bit of space between the players in the line out. And it was Walter Cole trying to get over the ball. Billy Nasir again with a carry. And a penalty given away there. And Plymouth Old Boys reap the rewards. I think there was a Stratford Eltham player off his feet. And a chance here for Jack Parker to clear.
Just got a little bit messy there, Will. I'm a bit old-fashioned. I like to sort of bring things back to the old, you know, tighten things up. And
yeah, sort of. It's a funny little ruck because the cleaners were, you know, they cleaned out. Then there was no one around the ball, and then I think your Plymouth Old Boys tried to grab it, and then a Stratford Eltham player went off their feet. So that's what happens. Give a penalty away. Caleb Wheatley getting a bit of attention.
one of those refs could understand.
Now, good start actually, Ross Hannon. He's picking up the important things. Miller to throw. Williamson, oh, it's not straight, and it will be a free kick. Miller doesn't agree. And obviously if free kicks come in this year, straight in the line out when there's competition. Harry Hansen with a quick tap. He can't elect for a scrum in that situation either. Again, you Plymouth Old Boys in the breakdown, and they get the turnover. That's us and loses the ball forward. And there's another bit of a scuff. Klaassen and others. A bit of pressure at the back of that ruck, and nothing in it, so I think Ross Hannon will probably just have a chat to the captains here.
I thought there might have been a penalty there, Will, with the Stratford player being dragged on the ground and holding on the ball. He should really never let it go to sort of about the last second, you know. So I was quite surprised by that.
So Ross Hannon talking to Slater and Harry Hansen, the two captains. But if in this game, both teams coming off a loss. And it will be Stratford Eltham to feed this one, so no infringement there, and the team that was last in possession will get the feed. As the score remains 17-7. As we have probably got about maybe 5 to 10 minutes left in this game. Bailey from the back of the scrum. Christie with a kick downfield goes beyond Murfitt, and he controls it. And the 22 again, plenty of time for Murfitt, and he clears for touch in front of the Stratford Eltham bench.
Just Boys bench, Will, and I see Mason Millen stripped and ready to go, so that's a good sign. Number 21.
Yeah, and also number 5, Brent Tucker, is sitting on the bench as well. Williamson came on from a little bit earlier on, and good kick downfield. Another 50-22. That's the second one of the afternoon for Jack Parker. And I'll set this one up again just before the break. And a good start, sent off the tee, Sofin as well. To Williamson, off the back of the, still going. Here's Cole again, carried well last week. and continuing that form here to Dowsing. Klaassen again. No, in fact, he let it for his row to have a bit of a crack. Edging ever so close to the line, New Plymouth Old Boys. The other posts to the right. Keeping it tight. Edging closer. Some defence holding up well. And it's a try. Just around the side of the ruck. And the referee is in a good spot to reward that.
It looks like Josh Dowsing.
Josh Dowsing coming up with it. And was New Plymouth Old Boys' third try of the afternoon.
But an old-fashioned rugby there, eh?
Just keep it basic.
Yep,
Hey.
yep.
So a good lead here for the home team. And a simple conversion as well for Parker. And that will be 25-7. 24. My maths is not great, Billy, so thanks for that. Three and a penalty kick for New Plymouth Old Boys. And Stratford Eltham up a converted try. It was a good one too, down the left edge. Blake Christie to off for the visitors. And Wheatley leaves it for Williamson. Taken down by the experienced Bishop. And the one jumper for Eltham, Lawrence. No look pass to Parker. And just going around his man, a little bit of shepherding. And the referee, Ross Hannon, quickly onto that one. So a decision here for Stratford Eltham just before half. Go for the points, or will they kick for the line-out position? I think Blake Christie's up towards the ball, which means they will go for the shot.
Just noticed on the kickoffs, Will always seem to have some uncertainty around what they're going to do with it once they get the ball. You know, we kick it.
Yeah, that last one, Wheatley sort of he was going to get it, going to grab it, and then just left it for Williamson, who was next to him.
Yeah,
yeah. So Blake Christie right out in front. And he will stab it over. (24-10) is the score here. And Parker again. Get the game back underway. Parker takes it down on that far side of the field. And Stratford Eltham has, looks like they made a substitution. Might be Josh Howitson coming on 21. And good to have a regular halfback on Billy. Chase Bailey did the job in the interim. Bishop with a carry. It's back in a position. Looks like Fever's back on the field too. So there's been a couple of changes here. And a wayward pass over the top. Cry forward, but I think it was okay. And that was number 12, Ben Minhinnick, who's wearing the grey headgear.
Once again, I think if Stratford, they had numbers down this left-hand side again, if they'd you know, just slowed it down, maybe carried the ball, throwing that wall pass, they might have had pride there.
Yeah, Bailey was outside him, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Here's Wheatley. Around the back they go, and again, just a little knock on at the back there. Ball retention has been an issue for New Plymouth Old Boys today. But as I said earlier, no excuses. The weather conditions are perfect.
But it's that tipping ball. If you don't get the tipping ball right, you know, you're going to come away, aren't you?
Shouldn't be too far away from the break here, as Howitson in 21 will feed for Stratford Eltham. 4 players set up on this near side, 2 on the far. And it is the number 8, Balanasia, again running off the back. Howitson gets the ball from him. A late 8-9 play. And there's no halfback. So Ryan Williams, others have got to go in and secure the ball. Merchant side. Bailey. Just keeping it tight here. Williamson again. The ball is loose and the referee awards New Plymouth Old Boys getting over the ball. Just a little bit isolated there. And Wibbly Parker a clear from inside his 22, and they'll get the line out around the 10-metre line. Kicking into that strong breeze. It's probably, I mean, we're probably sheltered up here, Billy, but it may have dropped down just a little bit. Miller to throw, Williamson again, and referee's ruled that it's not straight. So we kick on the 15. Hansen takes it smartly. The referee brings him back. He takes it again. Does the captain. Puts his head down. And Williamson strips that on the ground. He can't do that. Got to release the... And just some simple penalties. And immediately, Billy, Stratford Eltham go for the points.
That was a stupid penalty to give away, you know.
So far, 100% off the tee, along with Jack Parker. And they signalled a shot at goal pretty quickly. Hush around the ground as Christie gets this one over and just narrows that margin again, 24 points to 13. Shouldn't be too far to go in the first half of this game. And they kick off. This time it goes deep to Fever, who spent a bit of time in the sin bin for a stomp. And that's half time. So wasn't too far away.
No, it wasn't, mate. I don't know. What do you think of Ra Marco's going to say about that? I think Ra, he's got a cool head on him, so I don't think he'd be too worried about what he, you know.
Now there's another 40 minutes to go, isn't there?
Yeah. I just noticed that the Old Boys forward pack seems to just a wee bit, you know.
Probably hot too, keeping it tight. So at the moment it is 24-13 at the break. And for New Plymouth Old Boys, Parker in with a penalty. Miller scored the try, Parker converted. McDonald with the try down the outside. Parker converted, Housing with the try, which was converted too. And for Stratford Eltham, Coop scored. And it's all been Christie on the board with a conversion and 2 penalty kicks for it to be 24 points to 13 at the break. And we'll take a breather.
Yeah.
Back after the break with the second half at Welcome back to Vogeltown Park. New Plymouth Old Boys and Stratford Eltham on Good Friday. And it is New Plymouth Old Boys with the upper hand, 24-13 at the break. Don't think there's been any changes yet.
Notice Hemipo Cunningham's on.
Oh, he is come on yet of the season. And that'll strengthen Stratford as the game back underway. Kick-off by Blake Christie. And New Plymouth Old Boys showing the end with Walter Cole, a good tackle. Though by Stratford, I think it was Dale Bailey up towards the 22. And Perry Lawrence flies in, and Ross Hannon saw that one. And wait to see. But a good chance yet to put early points on the board in the second half.
Would I be guessing that he's coming from the side?
Potentially, that may have been the penalty. Christie with an unblemished record so far. And I have just put the mockers on him. He missed it. So the score remains 24-13. And Stratford Eltham, not the start that they were looking for.
Something I can't understand, Will, is why teams all want to run 22 on a kick-off, you know? Sometimes why not put the boot to it? Get down the other end of the field.
Clear it downfield.
Yeah.
Which is what they've done now. Here's Cunningham, his first touch of the season. And it's a good one too. Lays it back there for Howard Bishop. Over the gain line go Stratford Eltham. Good quick ball here as well. And it's been intercepted on that far side of the field by New Plymouth Old Boys. Klaassen now on the front foot go Old Boys. Dowsing with a bit of space, and he spots a bit of a hole and goes straight through it. The support is not there on the pass as wayward as Harry Hansen picks it up. And Minhinnick for Stratford Eltham. An opportunity goes begging against New Plymouth Old Boys. They could have set that one up as Harry Fever kicks it right down to the field to Parker on halfway. Stabs it over the top, and chasing it is Betteridge. Christie does well and evades the tackle. Christie down the touchline, kicks it downfield, hasn't found touch. Murfitt, frantic start to the second half here as the pass goes over McDonald. Little kick over the top. Harry Hansen makes contact, but I think he was committed, so we play on. Stratford Eltham now in possession, just inside Old Boys half. Cunningham again. Over the ball and didn't quite win it. May have been wrapped around the body instead of on the ball. Hansen with a bit of hesitation. Offloads to Christie. Loose at the back for Howitson. Coop, who scored Stratford Eltham's only try, and he gives away a penalty. Over the ball, and it might be Perry Lawrence getting the pats on the back. Helter-skelter start though, Billy.
It is very much helter-skelter.
Is that yes, it is. They're going for the points. Jack Parker, again, he's unblemished off the tee. And no, he's given it to McDonald, isn't he? Betteridge, in fact. So this is 50, let's say 51.5 on the angle. Oh, he's got plenty on that, but just away, Coop comes away with it, and that's off the side of the boot. That's not a great kick. He'll be disappointed with that one. And Old Boys, the line out around. Miller to throw. Goes to Williamson, slaps it back, Dowsing up the scraps, Wheatley in midfield. Cuts back towards the left. Klaassen to O'Neill, on to Lawrence. The two front rowers working in tandem again, and another turnover there for Stratford. Eltham. Coop bangs it downfield, and again another wayward kick, and that one's out on the full.
Once again, easy to say, mate, you know, Perry should have just carried that, held on to it, you know, waited for the support to come, and it would have got a clean ball back.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, though, for New Plymouth Old Boys, Wheatley now. Dan Bishop and Hanson with the tackle. Again, loose at the back, but it's gone backwards. Here's Slater. It's the 22. And again, conceding the penalty.
Welcome back to Club Rugby NPOB.
Yeah, doesn't look out of place.
No.
And it just bounces into touch right down in front of us. So, a good return for Mopo Cunningham.
Harry Hanson's having a good game for Stratford there, Will.
He's a good nugget.
Yeah.
Of course, been involved in the academy and so forth. His father Bruce played for the Hurricanes. And not a great throw. And they'll get the free kick. Well, at least the assistant with that today.
Absolutely.
Dowsing to take the quick tap. And he runs it into the Stratford Eltham players. Klaassen to O'Neill, tip on to Slater. Good clean out coming from Mitch O'Neill. Cole, Dowsing next to him. And it's been knocked on again at the back. So again, that ball security, that'll be killing them.
Just heard the coach down below me, Will, saying they're panicking a bit, so, you know, starting to creep in.
Yeah, Stratford Eltham putting there on the... And you did send me some stats, Billy, from the previous 3 games. And I think mistakes or errors made, they made 8 against Inglewood, 7 against, in fact, 15 against Tukopper, and 13 against Coastal.
Yeah.
It does. And just to update you on some of the other matches around the province. Of course, last night Inglewood beat Southern 24-14. Clifton lead Tukopper 12-6. And haven't got a score from the Coastal United game, but you were saying that Coastal leading.
Yeah.
United picking up the season last week against Inglewood, and good to see them runs on the board. And the score here at the moment, scrum goes round the 90, and it will be another reset. As a bit of cloud cover comes across now, which is good for us because we're smashed by it, haven't we, Billy, all game?
Right, who left the field as well.
Rover's on the side, and he may have actually. He's sitting on the bench over there with the strapping on his knee. So, a few changes there for Stratford Eltham. Looks like Bailey's gone on the wing on that far side.
Right, who was another one that was looking quite promising in that first half.
He's got, and Stratford Eltham love to use him down the edge.
Absolutely.
And rightly so. The referee just taking his time to get these scrums right.
So it looks like Samishi's gone into lock for Stratford.
So another restart. It'll get to the point where Ross Hannon will have to make a decision. Aaron Toslin on for Stratford Eltham as well.
I can see Scott Drury walking up and down on the other side. He's probably can't wait to get on the field and be destructive.
He'll be itching to go. He's had a horror run of injuries, hasn't he? Good to see him stripped for today's game in the 19 jersey for Stratford Eltham. The Plymouth Old Boys, a big scrum coming, and they get rewarded for that. Completely and utterly the Stratford Eltham scrum.
It's a bit of a surprise considering in the first half, actually both full packs were pretty much even, weren't they? Maybe they just changed with their number 8 going into lock.
Yeah,
Hemipo would have added to it, but
might be Perry Lawrence with the upper hand too on this near side, as Jack Parker line up another kick. Looks good too. Flags go up for Jack Parker. $27 points to 13. The Old Boys have always been ahead of the game here. This one deep inside the 22, but a hesitation there between Murphy and Cole, but Cole comes away with it. 2, and Billy, you were talking about the exits. Looks like that is what they are going to do through Parker. Here's Coop. Yeah, pretty elusive when he gets going. And you Plymouth Old Boys get O'Turner coming. It was Villimart, Plymouth Boys High School's first 15 a couple of years ago. He gets the turnover. Clearance downfield, and probably didn't get the distance he wanted, did he?
Yeah, after last week's episode, I think Jack's just happy to get it out.
Fair comment. Call coming from Williamson again, and it's Slater that goes up for it. To Wheatley in the midfield with his head down and goes into the Taxon. Again, moving away to this left-hand side. Parker over the advantage line. Clarkson again to Murphyton from fullback. It's a Betteridge. Loose at the back. Parker to Dowsing. And others make the tackle. Clarkson again, O'Neill. Quick pass to Slater. And another. Not quite sure what's going on there with the handling errors, Billy, but another knock on against New Plymouth. And Stratford Eltham will get a scrum. And a couple of changes down there, Billy, by the looks of it, potentially coming up.
Yeah. Mason Millum, he's looking to get back on there.
And Offa Takahiri as well, moved down from, and in the Taranaki Academy in 17. Looks like he's warming up and ready to go.
Jacob Mitchell looks like to warm up too.
His uncle Hamish is the coach, and his father Phil both played for Taranaki. Taking it down on this near side.
Perry's looking pretty happy with himself today.
Yeah, an easy 3-2. Stratford Eltham, they certainly pride themselves on their scrum, but it's not really working out today, is it?
Well, they held themselves in the first half, and like I say, with these changes that they've made, maybe caused a bit of an upset in the second half.
Yep, as we expected, easy 3 to Jack Parker. And that takes the score out to 30 points to 13, New Plymouth Old Boys.
Maybe Scott Jerry needs to be waving at Coach Marco, tell him I'm ready to get on.
As Caleb Wheatley comes off the field for New Plymouth Old Boys. And Mitchell is on. Williamson's coming off. And a short restart this time. Oh. And Mitchell comes. That's an introduction to Premier Rugby for the young man in jersey 19. Klaassen eyeing up his options. Simpson runs onto it. Klaassen again with the box kick over the top, and the pressure coming up from Stratford Eltham. And it may have been Cunningham offside. Yeah, he was just a little bit eager in his first game back for Stratford Eltham this season.
Small inches, he was indicating to the ref.
So another line out to New Plymouth Old Boys. They've had a lot of the territory in this second half. A little bit loose at the back, and Dowsing again picks up on loose ball, I should say. And they're on the charge again, the home team, looking to reverse the victory, or the result, I should say, from last week against Tukopper. And again, Stratford Eltham now. Minhinnick loses it forward. A little bit messy.
Was the ball out?
Ball retention, the ball was out. Stratford Eltham pounced on it.
I guess I can't argue with the referee, Will.
Nah, well, I'm 100 metres away. Can't see play on.
Maybe overs.
And these two teams had a win each. Plymouth Old Boys won Victoria Park in round 1, and then second round match 39-35 at Vogeltown Park in week 8. And at the moment, your Plymouth Old Boys with a solid 30-13 lead in the first clash this year, and they are getting absolutely smashed at scrum time. And the tee has been run out by Northcote Hill, and they'll just continue to put the points on.
Certainly seems like a different Old Boys team from the last 3 games, Will. There's they're still hanging in there and still showing a bit of muscle there.
Yeah, it was that second half, wasn't it, against Tukopper last week? That was really the difference. Tukopper scoring 3 tries, I think, off Old Boys. Stratford Eltham haven't managed to do that today. And Parker again just continues his 100% record off the tee. And the young man, formerly out of New Plymouth Boys High School, doing the job and extending that score 33-13 here at Vogeltown Park. Good Friday rugby. And rugby clubs are the only places selling beer on Good Friday, so I'm sure they'll enjoy that this afternoon. Cunningham smacks Mitchell in the tackle. In fact, it may have been Scott Jury actually who's on. Certainly looks a lot bigger. He's been in the gym. referee or assistant referee decides to play on there. Coop with a kick downfield, couldn't quite catch it, so bit of footwork. Klaassen is Murphy, got to go and play halfback. Kick from Parker, a little bit scrappy here. And here's Rover, played for Boys High's first 15 last year. And there's an Old Boys player line there. And the referee says, well, the ball's still available, we'll play on. Big hit coming there from Toka Reri in the 17 jersey. Howitson, Hansen, Jury has to go. And the Taranaki rep secures it for Stratford Eltham. Hansen again, the captain. Toka Reri makes another tackle. Cunningham with another carry. No one's over the ball, and Howitson takes off down the field. He spots a bit of space, and a good tackle there from Murphy. No support, though, from Stratford Eltham. And Old Boys off their feet, so they can't win that one. And Fever kicks downfield. And it's Betteridge's kick that's partially charged. It's a good run, though, by Howitson. And it gets Stratford Eltham back in the right area of the field, but it will be New Plymouth Old Boys. The line-out's been operating okay. 4 into the line-out they've committed to. Slater goes up and it goes beyond him to Hansen for Stratford Eltham, who was just waiting there at the back. Howitson in 21. Billy Nasa, Jury, Miller and Simpson takes him down to ground. Howitson again to Fever at first receiver. Bumps off one, including the referee. And this is good play here for Stratford Eltham. Cunningham again, had Jury there, but decided to go into contact. Released and carried on. Smart play. Number 17 for Stratford Eltham is Aaron Toslin, who's on the committee down there as well. Good club man. A good run there for Stratford Eltham. Back with his first touch. It's building forward. Billy Nasa with another carry, and he got the offload away. Quick ball here, Fever. What can they do? Christie now. Should have probably passed it to Bailey. And Bailey's got to go in and secure the ball at the back of the ruck. Jury partially held up and then went to ground. Lays it back. Dale Bailey. The tension builds up here as Stratford Eltham trail this game 33-13. They'll just keep it in the forwards for Eltham by the looks of that setup. Billy Nasa again. Busy the number 8. They move it away to the left-hand side. Quick ball and intercepted. Oh, this could be all over. There was a try on there, and now there will be one at the other end as Blake Christie comes across. But it does not matter, as Zach McDonald will score under New Plymouth Old Boys. Came out of absolute nowhere.
You don't know really what to say around that sort of stuff. You know, Stratford's hard to do what they're doing, and just a silly pass like that. I don't even know if it was a silly pass, actually. You know, it was probably the right pass, to be honest. They had their numbers there.
Yeah, it was just quick D. You know, he came out of the line quickly, put his arm out, caught it, and he was away.
Yeah. And I think you can see the differences have added to that Stratford pack, you know, with Hemapo and Scotty Jury, you know, adding a little bit more physicality.
Another good kick there from Jack Parker, probably the afternoon for him. And that score will be 40 points to 13 after that Parker conversion try. And it has been a very dominant performance by New Plymouth Old Boys. It's certainly different compared to the result. As Clifton lead New Tukapa 19-13. in the match at Sanders Park, and haven't seen any results come through from the Coastal United game out at Rahotu, but I'm sure that'll be known in the next half an hour or so. Klaassen kicks downfield. And number 22 is Finn Crawford for Stratford Eltham, and he passes it off to Cunningham, who's had such an impact in this game. Dale Bailey going lateral for his team. As New Plymouth Old Boys physical at that breakdown, and they win the penalty as well, committing numbers, and the tee being run out straight away in the ruck.
Talk about a game of two halves.
Yeah, they've just got better and better, Old Boys at the rucks, haven't they? And taking their opportunities like Parker has done all afternoon. 43-13 the score now, and probably about 10-15 minutes to go.
I'll tell you something I've enjoyed watching is Jacob Mitchell taking the kickoffs. Finally found someone in Taranaki who can catch a ball on the kickoff. Eh?
Restart from Christie again. It's a high one, and there he is, that man you were talking about, Billy.
Yeah. Jacob
Mitchell. And Josh Ray's on the field, and that one's been charged, and an opportunist try coming up here for you. It will be. Billy Nassa will score. And the pressure came from the kick. It was charged down. Tall man against a small man. And Stratty gets to there.
Josh won't be feeling too good about that. He's just come on the field.
Yeah. The kick coming from Christie, swings it around nicely, and he makes it. 43-20. So, for a change, New Plymouth Old Boys will kick off, and you can tell Josh Ray's the newest man on the field because his jersey is very white, isn't it, Billy? Obviously, a stalwart of that Division 1 team at New Plymouth Old Boys, and Div 1 not playing today, so a couple of players are fresh and ready to go there from Old Boys and Ranage. And Ross Hannon will come back for it. Couple of TBC team today, Billy, and they have filled the gap, obviously, so not quite sure who they are.
I think number 20, 20 on his jersey is Matthew Tuck, I think.
Right. So, looking down the barrel of this line out. Hansen, who has played quite well today. Made a couple of tackles, a few runs as well. And the line out goes against. And here's Josh Ray. Tucker in jersey 5. Thought he went off earlier in the game, actually, and then he's come back on. It's a good kick, though, down to Crawford. And a kick off the side of the boot. And that goes pretty much straight in the ear. And here's the man we were talking about. Parker, again, thought about passing, then dabs the kick over. Stratford Eltham, though, pick it up, and it's Christie who does well. It's down the edge. Here's Murfitt. A bit of a goosey and goes over halfway. Taken down by Minhinnick. Lawrence to Cole. Good support. Try to get it off to Tucker, and it's come off, you know, it's been knocked on. I thought it came off a Stratford Eltham player. Referee playing advantage to Minhinnick. Here's the try scorer for Stratford Eltham. Billy Nasser finds the support, and Bailey goes around Murfitt. That's a great try from Stratford Eltham. Will be Chase Bailey to score. And it all came from the knock-on. 43-25 is the score now. In fact, it will be 43-27 with a quick conversion. Maybe about 5 to go as we are at 4:05. And player down, Harry Hanson's down.
Mate, did you see Perry Lawrence put his head down, trying to get to that number 8? So Harry Hanson's had a really good game here.
Yeah.
Led his troops well.
Yeah, he's a good captain. He doesn't say a lot, but when he does, he's an engaged Parker. And good defence again from New Plymouth Old Boys. Howitson kicks downfield to Cullen Murfitt. And he'll return spiral punt too, old-fashioned styles. Down the throat of Christie. And no one really there, just overran it a little bit there as Crawford goes back and picks it up. And again, just swamped by the New Plymouth Old Boys defence. This could be a turnover here if they can't use it. Yeah, and it will be too. Just committing players around the ball, aren't they, Billy?
I hate to say it, but it seemed like Stratford just sort of gave up there for a minute, you know?
You're getting to trailing, but they have done well to narrow that margin with a couple of late tries. They've scored 3. Old Boys have scored 4, but it has been the early kicks. I think that's been the real difference. That Parker just looks excellent off the tee, doesn't he?
Yep.
And the shunt there coming from Stratford Eltham. That makes a bit of a change because Old Boys have had the dominance definitely up front. Wide ball over the top here. And this is Betteridge. Toes it ahead, and this one could go too far. Fires it back, and a little bit loose. And I think that I've got options here, is what referee Ross Hannon says. They'll come back for 22 maybe. Did it go dead? Must have gone dead. And a quick 22 taken. And of course at a 22 you've got an option of a scrum where it was kicked all the 22. Josh Ray, 22 on his end of the field to return it to Rover, who kicks it off the side of his boot. And it will dribble into touch. Again, a kick that he probably wouldn't be happy with.
Starting to get a little bit messy now, Will. A little bit of fatigue probably coming in and kicking in, and
couple of changes here for New Plymouth Old Boys. In fact, Cullen Murfitt coming off but a cramp. He's been busy in the game today. Vulumat will come back, the number 13 jumper. Mitchell grabs it at the top of the line out. And it's a very messy maul. New Plymouth Old Boys still have it at the... Eltham have turned it over. Howitson was held down by Lawrence, but he got away to get the pass off to Jury. Howitson to back on that left-hand side. Parker with a fend, and Mitchell again holds him up. They've done well, and they'll come back for the penalty.
Mitchell has certainly made a presence since he's come on the field, hasn't he?
He certainly has, and he's shot up too since last time I saw him.
Yeah.
Travelling down from Hamilton, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
So good.
Marika Parker's starting to show a little bit of presence as well.
Good carries.
Yeah.
By the front right. And that one isn't a great throw there for Stratford Eltham, but New Plymouth Old Boys back on the charge with Tucker and jersey number 5, Josh Ray to Parker. So it was Brett Tucker. And Crawford going back. And he'll kick side of the field. And it will be McDonald who grabs that one. Scored a great try earlier on in the second half. Betteridge now. Pass was sort of in front of him. Stratford Eltham trying to kick downfield. Minhinnick and Mason Millen competing. Old Boys have it back. Ray to Cole. Good run there by the number 8. Kick over the top from Josh Ray. And Rover claims the mark. And yeah, in these games, Billy, with 43-27, it can get a little bit messy, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty frantic stuff as Chase Bailey. Oh, that could be a yellow card here. And that's what Ross Hannon will do by the looks of it. There was a clear overlap on that far side of the field. And Brent Tucker put his arm out. And he was in no position to catch that one.
Looks like he's heading straight to the shower.
So Harry Fever kicks downfield. And Trent Rowlands will chuck it in for Stratford Eltham on the far side. And that one is down the side of New Plymouth Old Boys. Dowsing got a pass from Ray. And there's a player down. In fact, he's okay. Park. And obviously, Ross Hannon, the referee, thought that Parker was not in a good way, but he's all right now. He'll give the scrum to New Plymouth Old Boys, team in possession.
I don't think Parker's too happy with himself.
No, and I think he's moved to lock, yeah, because they've got Toslin, Rowlands and back on for Stratford Eltham. So the whole front row's been changed. Cunningham there at number 8. Jury at blindside flanker. And again, the scrum twisting. (43-27) the score here. And probably wouldn't be far to go now as we are approaching 4:15. Coming there from Stratford Eltham. They do win a penalty, and eventually they'll, as they take it quickly. Howitson, Christie, and that one is bouncing all over the place. Here's Millam flirting with the touchline and puts his foot on the line. And a score from Sanders Park, 18 lead over Tukopper.
Gee, Scotty Drury showed a bit of pace here, mate, to really run him.
He did a good job too, and he goes up and gets the line out. He'll be happy with his return back to club rugby here in Taranaki. Balinasa lays it back eventually for Howitson. Inside ball to back. Howitson again. And here's Crawford now. Pass off, and he did to Rover. And it's been passed forward into touch. So they get the option. Certainly towards the end of the match, you'd imagine.
Wouldn't you thought Old Boys would have gone for the line out?
Yeah, the line-out's been operating all right.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. But they're starting to get, Stratford's starting to get the, you know.
That's a good point.
And Old Boys are a man down in the scrum. Yep.
Yeah, of course, no number 8 because Tucker is in the bin.
He's in the showers.
Yeah. He won't play a further part in this game after being yellow card. Josh Ray feeds it in. Yeah, there's that shunt coming from Stratford Eltham. And Betteridge just kicks it into touch, and a really dominant performance here from New Plymouth Old Boys. They win this game 43, and they bounce back from that loss against Weekend, and that's Stratford's second loss in a row, of course, coming off that loss against Coastal last week as well. That performance, Billy?
Well, it's certainly a different New Plymouth Old Boys team that we've seen for the last 3 weeks. So, you know, the coaches obviously had a stern word with them during the week, and they've woken up and showed a little bit more aggression and got around the park a bit quicker, and probably the area even talked about errors. Maybe they weren't there as many as we think they're going to be. Yeah,
well, the weather's been so good this morning.
Yeah,
and into the afternoon as well. I was very surprised with the error count. It'll be interesting to have a look at the stats at the end of the game about.
Yeah. I still don't think Ramarco will be too concerned about their loss. It's only early stages for them, even though they've had 2 on the trot. Yeah,
and it'll still probably keep them in the top 4, because heading into this game they were second, equal with Clifton on 11 points. And as we get an update from a full-time score, Tukopper 25, Clifton 24 in the dying stages of that game. Goodness me.
Wow.
Obviously Tukopper. But to wrap up this game here, New Plymouth Old Boys scored 4 tries to 3, but it was really Jack. He was excellent off the tee, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, it was good to see that Jack was actually kicking the ball out and doing the right things with the ball, considering last week he had a bit of a shocker.
Yeah. And good to see a couple of Taranaki players coming back for the first time this year. Himopo Cunningham and also Scott Jury. They'd be really happy with their performances despite getting the loss here this afternoon.
Absolutely, and they made a bit of a difference when they come on as well. So, yeah, it's good to see them back.
They'll be really happy with that. So next week, of course, New Plymouth Old Boys face United, and Stratford Eltham will be home too. And, of course, all of those games will be live streamed on the Taranaki Rugby's YouTube channel. But that pretty much wraps it up from us. Thanks so much for your time, Billy. And at New Plymouth Old Boys in this match, 43-27 over Stratford Eltham.